Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are tuning in. Thank you for joining me for Brahma Viharas. This is the chapter on equanimity, and today we'll be diving into a guided meditation on cultivating equanimity for our loved ones. Now, this might be quite familiar as a structure of meditation for many of you if you've been tuning in to my previous episodes. How it works, I'll ring the bell, guide us into the present moment experience, sounds, body, breath, and then we'll offer these gifts of equanimity. And first we'll offer them to our own heart, experiencing our life with equanimity, experiencing ourself through the eyes of non-judgment. Then we'll offer that experience to a loved one. Now, we don't want to use somebody for this practice whom we have a romantic relationship with, a desire-based relationship with. Best to use somebody, a family member or a very close friend, a loved one, particularly a loved one for whom the conflicted experience with or conflicted feelings about. It's a clear experience of fondness for this loved one. So while I'm talking here, you can maybe contemplate in the back of your mind while you're still listening, hopefully, to what I'm saying. Be thinking or preparing somebody for whom you want to offer the experience of equanimity towards. So first, we experience ourself through the eyes of non-judgment. And one of the phrases is, may I experience the world knowing me just as I am. That's actually, I think, my favorite. I love all of the phrases, but wow, that's really powerful. Experience the world knowing us through the eyes of non-judgment. This is very powerful because we create our ego based on how we imagine other people see us and know us. So when we experience the world seeing us and knowing us exactly as we are, well, there's an incredible amount of freedom in that. And so we offer that first to ourselves, experiencing that type of equanimity, that type of non-judgment. We also experience our life free from our preferences and prejudices, because all of those preferences and prejudices are given to us by our cultural conditioning, by our upbringing, our education, our background. And so we use these practices of equanimity to strip our awareness of that cultural baggage, that cultural conditioning, so we can experience life as it presents itself. And then we offer that to a loved one. What a gift. Then we use the phrase, may I know things just as they are. So here we're practicing experiencing life free from inference. There's no hypothesis about what the future might look like, no stress, because all stress comes from the future. It's an imaginated future about what we think might or might not happen. So this practice of equanimity is helping to break that down as well. May I know things just as they are. May I see into whatever arises. That's the last phrase that we use. And so, seeing the present moment as it exists. Again, dropping the cultural conditioning, dropping our past, dropping whatever we're bringing with us. We see through that and then we can see into whatever arises. Now, just use a little example. When I was first engaging equanimity practice, I remember going to the MoMA in New York City, Modern Art Museum. And I had been doing equanimity practice for maybe a couple of weeks or a month. And I walked into the museum and I walked up the stairs, and there's this beautiful painting. I don't remember what it was. I think it was Dali. And this Dali, let's go with that. This was quite some years ago. So, but if I remember correctly, it was a Dali painting. And the Dali painting was there, and I looked at it, and my reactions to the painting arose. And I could see them as two separate experiences. I could see the painting in front of me, and I could see my response to that, my reaction, my preferences and my prejudices arising next to the experience of the artwork as two different experiences. That's equanimity. We see exactly what arises, and then we experience next to it the way I experienced it that day, or in front of it, or alongside our experience of reality. We see, or we witness, or we observe our cultural conditioning that arises with it, our preferences, our prejudices, our likes, our dislikes, our judgments, and so forth. That also arises. We don't repress anything, but we notice it, and we see that that's us. That's our ego that we typically see the world through. Now it's separated from the world. It's there. We can entertain it. We can play with it. We can don that face if we need to be socially interactive. Nothing wrong with all of that. But we don't see it as being reality any longer. We see through that mirage. And so in this practice, we'll offer those phrases to ourselves to touch in with that equanimity, and then offering this beautiful experience of equanimity to a loved one. We bring the phrase up to our heart, and when we do it for ourselves, we visualize or imagine what our life would look or feel like if each phrase was completely reflective of our life circumstance. And then we do the same for the loved one. We offer this beautiful, precious gift of equanimity. We can actually visualize, if you can, the loved one receiving that phrase as a gift. And then visualizing, imagining what their life would look or feel like if these phrases were completely reflective of their life circumstance. Okay, I think that's all I need to say. We're going to start with the sounds of the present moment. So I'll be using the singing bowl here to guide the sounds. Pardon me, we didn't start yet. And then we'll go through the body and the breath, and then into the equanimity phrases. Enjoy. So allowing the body, mind, and heart to rest. Just coming into this present moment experience. And I'll ring the sound of the singing bowl. Rest your awareness on the tone of the bell. Allow the bell to fade, guiding your thinking mind into silence. resting there in the silence of the present moment. You might also notice the sounds. You don't need to focus on any one particular sound, but allow your awareness to experience the entire field of sound and silence. And I'll ring the sound of the bell again. Rest your thinking mind on the tone of the bell. Allow the sound of the bell to guide your awareness into silence. And resting in the silence of the present moment, allowing awareness to expand, to include the sounds of the present moment. And as you rest there, listening to the present moment experience, the sound and silence, perhaps noticing how the sounds and silence interact with each other. Noticing the sensations of feet against the floor or the mat. Perhaps noticing sensations of clothing against the legs. Noticing the weight of the body against the chair or cushion, mat or floor. You might notice sensations of clothing against the back. The hands resting against the body or touching each other. Noticing the arms resting against the body. Sensations of clothing against the shoulders. You might notice sensations arising from the back of the neck, the sides of the neck. Sensations arising from the ears, the cheeks of the face. There might be sensations arising from the lips, the nose and the eyes. Sensations arising from the forehead. Noticing any sensations arising from the top of the head. And as you rest there with the sound and silence, the sensations of the body, bringing attention to the breath as it enters the nose and leaves the nose. You might notice the breath touching the back of the throat. Noticing the rib cage expanding and contracting with each breath. The rising and falling of the abdomen as you inhale and exhale. You might also notice the back moving out as you breathe in as you breathe out. noticing the shoulders rising and falling with each breath. And so we'll rest right there just for a few, maintaining open, spacious awareness on the silence and sound, sensations of body and breath, and just rest. And now, while resting in this present moment experience of the sound and silence, body and breath, we'll begin offering these very precious phrases of equanimity to our own heart, as if we were bringing our heart the most precious gift. Visualizing or imagining what our life might look or feel like if these phrases were completely reflective of our life circumstance. May I be free from preference and prejudice. May I know things just as they are. May I experience the world knowing me just as I am. May I see into whatever arises. And breathing in and breathing out, allowing a visualization to arise in the mind's eye of a loved one. And take a few moments to allow this visualization to arise. You might see this loved one in front of you, standing or sitting. You might notice how they might be holding their body or what they might be wearing, perhaps. And we'll begin offering these very precious gifts of equanimity to our loved one's heart. After each phrase, we'll spend about a minute visualizing or imagining what their life would look or feel like if each phrase was completely reflective of their life circumstance. May you be free from preference and prejudice. May you know things just as they are. May you experience the world knowing you just as you are. May you see into whatever arises. May you be free from preference and prejudice. May you know things just as they are. May you experience the world knowing you just as you are. May you see into whatever arises. And breathing in and breathing out. Allowing any visualizations left in the mind's eye to dissolve. You can allow those to fade back into the open, spacious awareness from which they came. Bringing attention and awareness to the silence and the sounds of this present moment. And simply listening to the entire spectrum of silence and sound. And while resting there in the silence and sound of the present moment, bringing attention to the sensations of feet against the mat or the floor. Noticing the sensations of clothing against the legs, the weight of the body against the cushion or chair, mat or floor, sensations of clothing against the back, there might be sensations of hands resting against the body or touching each other. The arms resting against the body. Noticing the sensations of clothing against the shoulders. There might also be sensations arising from the back of the neck and the sides of the neck. Sensations arising from the ears, the cheeks of the face. Noticing any sensations arising from the lips and the nose, the eyes and the forehead. Noticing any sensations arising from the top of the head. And while resting there with the sound and silence and the sensations arising throughout the body, bringing attention and awareness to the breath, entering and leaving the nose, the breath touching the back of the throat, noticing the rib cage expanding and contracting with each breath, the rising and falling of the abdomen as you inhale and exhale. You might notice the back moving out as you breathe in as you breathe out. Noticing the shoulders rising and falling with each breath. And so we'll rest right there just for a few moments, maintaining open, spacious awareness on the silence and sound, body and breath, and just rest. So thank you for joining me for this episode of Brahma Viharas. This was cultivating equanimity for ourselves and for a loved one, a guided meditation. I will be back on Monday. I'm taking this weekend off because New Life Foundation is doing a wonderful online retreat program, which I'm very proud to be a part of. I'll be doing the opening meditations Saturday and Sunday morning, along with Julian, the founder of New Life Foundation, and doing a Dharma talk as a closing offering, talking about a mindfulness type meditation practice that's not often done. It's not as popular as the current mindfulness type practice that's sweeping the globe. This is kind of a variation on that. It comes from Tibet, and it's a beautiful practice, something I really love. So hope you can catch that talk. On another note, there's some exciting news coming out of New Life. We are going to be offering a loving kindness retreat, which I am facilitating. That will be on July 17th to the 24th. So I recognize that this is being broadcast all over the world, and many of you won't be able to travel to Thailand. So this is mostly for people, well, I guess it's all for people who are currently in Thailand right now. So hope if you are here in Thailand, hope you can make it up to New Life Foundation for a really in-depth retreat on loving kindness practice. We'll spend 7 days. A lot of that will be in silence, cultivating the very, very immeasurable, wonderful, beautiful quality of loving kindness. So I'll be back on Monday with some more equanimity practice. We'll be then extending equanimity to somebody we don't know. So gradually expanding our circle of care, of compassion, of equanimity, of loving kindness to include more and more people. So we start with ourselves, a loved one. On Monday, we'll come back and expand out again to a stranger. Hope to see you there. Have a great weekend. Everyone, please stay safe, stay healthy, whatever that means to you. And I'll see you all on Monday. Thank you very much.